Off our first media availability of the morning for Sunday's Cobalt 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, joined by Chris Buescher, driver of the number 37 Chevrolet for JTG Daugherty Racing. Last year, Chris became one of 3 rookies to ever make the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. 2 races into a new team this year. Kind of talk about how that transition's gone for you.
Yeah, the transition, it's not really that early. I don't know why I can't talk, but transition's been good. Everybody over at JTG Daugherty has been awesome. Daytona, we had a car that drafted really well and did not have the single car speed that we would like, but at the end of the day, it did what it needed to in the race, and then just caught up in one of the accidents there. So we didn't get the finish to show it, but AJ ran extremely well. And then Atlanta was a race where we learned a bunch of stuff. We got a couple little things that we're gonna dial in, just from a feel standpoint. Trying to get used to something a little bit different. So we got that all taken care of, or best we know how for right now, and come out to Vegas here and see how it all applies. But excited to be out here for our West Coast swing. This is a fast racetrack here, and we'll see how everything comes together. But I think it's been pretty good so far.
Exciting weekend for you this weekend as well, with the new look, some of the activation going on around with that. Can you kind of elaborate on what you've got going on this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. We got Natty Light on the car for Vegas this weekend. Can't miss the car, blue, white, and plenty of pink on it. It looked red in the renderings, but it's a cool deal to have a natural light on board, as well as Barstool Sports. Just a good fit for us. Something that worked out really well, and we're right in natural light's demographic, and they say Texas is one of their biggest markets as well. So I got to pass it all on to friends back home, but. Just an exciting deal. The car, like I said, it came out looking excellent. Hopefully it's fast, and we get to victory lane. They said they got plenty of beer to spray, so there's a little bit of added pressure there.
Perfect. With that, we'll open it up to questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Jim here, then we'll go to Jeff.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. This might be somewhat difficult for you to answer since you just arrived at JTG, but do you feel like your team is going through any sort of growing pains, as this is their initial attempt at expanding beyond one team?
I don't know if it's anything that you wouldn't expect. It's a matter of hiring in, a ton of new people, and just getting everything blending in as quickly as possible. It's a lot, for a whole nother team to be brought in and hired. And I think Ernie said that they interviewed over 100 people during the process of trying to figure out what 30 or 40 to hire. So they definitely did their due diligence to make sure that we got the best people coming in, so that we're prepared to hit the ground running. And I think they've done a great job with that. We have a good team. Everybody gets along really well. Everybody works hard together, and there's no real issues. There's no egos that we're having to fight between either team and any of that situation. It's just it's about as smooth as you could ask it to go, really. And I think everybody's been really pleased with how it has come together in a rather short period of time. Especially considering the fact that most people had to start after the new year. Once they were out of their current contracts, wherever the situation may have been. But it gives you a late start on the year, and for that being the situation, I think we've done a great job with it. So the normal, but nothing outside of that. It's coming along really well.
We'll kick it over to Jeff.
Hey, Chris. Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. I'm wondering about your Barstool partnership this weekend. Are you much of a consumer of Barstool content? Are you familiar with them a lot? And do you think they're going to make you squirm with some of their questions and stuff to you?
Yes is the short answer. I'm a little worried about some of the stuff that we got going on for the weekend. I'm going to try and keep it as politically correct as I can for my sake, I guess. But it's gonna be a good time regardless. They're coming out for the race weekend, part of their Natty Light tour here, and they've been talking to a handful of our pit crew members as well, and they're pretty excited to be interviewed. And I think I don't know, they might not have to be as politically correct as me, so their answers might be more fun to some of the interviews, but it's bound to be a good time. We got to meet them down in Daytona briefly, and so now everybody coming out here. There'll be going to be a lot of people out here for this event and for our Barstool Sports Natty Light partnership there. So we're excited about it, but I'm going to have to tiptoe a little bit, I believe.
Go ahead.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Chris, last week we saw in the stages, I think it was even stage 2, where crew chiefs were making their guys wear, look, man, one spot you get 10th. And then we saw, fighting for, I think, 3rd or 4th place with 3 or 4 cars really going at it. Do you think we'll see more of that? And are you guys really, do you think as a whole the drivers are centered in on, I really want to grab points wherever I can get them in those stages?
Yeah, I think when everything was announced, I think the opinion was they were bonus points, and that you still needed to worry about into the race and make sure you had those big points, and that it wouldn't be as big a swing as it is. But I think we realized really quickly, like the truck and Xfinity race at Daytona, when you win 2 segments and get crashed out and you're still 5th in points at the end of the weekend, everybody kind of took notes and said that those bonus points are worth a lot more than I think we really wanted to give them credit for. And so yes, I think you're going to see a lot more of that, especially as we start getting closer to Richmond in our playoffs. I feel like it's a situation where like you said, if you're running 11th and you can get some bonus points and they tell you, hey, we need you to run a little bit harder for the next 10 laps, then yes, you need to go after it. And if you're running, in the top 5 and you're around 2 cars and you think you can get 2 more spots, then yeah, you're probably going to run a little harder. It's at the same time, you got to make sure that you're there at the end. I mean, the big points are still at the end. Race wins are still what are going to matter the most. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of different strategies, a lot of new stress caused by these segments for our races every week.
Go over here to Joe.
Joe Menzer, FoxSports.com. Chris, I don't think you got a speeding penalty in Atlanta, but I think AJ did, and obviously a bunch of other people did. Are you concerned about the new timing zones here and going forward? Why is it becoming so challenging?
I'm not concerned about them. It leaves a lot less room to try and cheat the larger segments or larger gaps that we had before the added lines. So, I never really fully took advantage of that. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't speeding at all. And so, now that they've added more lines, it hasn't changed much for me, but I know for a lot of drivers that were really maxing out their pit road speeds and able to get that little jump of speed before getting to their box or leaving, they've had to throttle back a little bit. But, the Atlanta thing, Trent and DK told me very early on before we ever made a stop, they said you need to be careful. They've already busted 4 or 5 guys for speeding, and that they've been on it. And so we kind of just we backed off one light on our dash and made sure that we didn't get caught speeding. And the way, for me, it's one speeding penalty will take away any progress that 49.5 miles an hour versus 49 miles an hour on pit road will have gained you throughout a race. So, you gotta max it out, but try and, for me, look at the bigger picture and make sure that we don't have a speeding penalty. And I think that's, for me, that's what I try and do there. So I'm not worried about the extra lines here.
Great. Any additional questions? Right up here.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Sorry I got in here late, so I apologize if this has already been asked. But your career path really hasn't gone any way how you expected it. After winning the championship with Roush, we all just kind of assumed you'd be one of the Cup drivers over there, but you bounced to front row, now to JTG. What's been the difference, just in philosophy and just the way the different teams do things that you've noticed so far?
Yeah, it is interesting just going from a place that was really all I knew, all the way back through ARCA days and coming up through Xfinity, and for me it's been an eye opener, and I've learned a lot during the process. So I really like where I'm at right now. I really enjoy being over at JTG Daugherty. Absolutely excellent people. A very tight family atmosphere, and it is nice. It's reminds you more of the short track Saturday night racing when you had friends and family coming over to help in the garage before a race weekend. And so for me, it's been a really good time. We have I think 12 or 17 or something different fire suits for the year, and so we are going to be extremely busy. But at the same time, it's fun. Everything that we've done so far has been a good time. It's been enjoyable, and it doesn't feel like you're doing extra work. It just feels like you making sure that we can do everything we can to be able to take cars to racetrack and be competitive, and have new colors on the sides every weekend.
Any additional questions for Chris? Okay, great. Thank you, Chris, for coming in, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.